I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And welcome to my review of RiffTrax, The Last Shark. Serendipitously, RiffTrax has recently posted this riff in full for free on their YouTube channel, so you can check it out at your leisure after this. The film in question is a 1981 Italian-made, supposed horror film that was 100% created to ride the coattails of Steven Spielberg's Jaws success from 6 years prior. According to my research, the film did okay in its native country, being the 72nd highest-grossing film that 1980-81 season in Italy. So if the locals liked it, how bad could it possibly be? Well, it turns out that Universal tried to get the film barred from the theaters stateside, but was denied. But in a twist, a month into the movie's American run, a federal judge decided it was too similar to Jaws, and the movie was then pulled after all. Man, that judge would have a heck of a time with the Asylum films. But was this movie worth all that effort? Let's dive in and find out with my review of RiffTrax, The Last Shark. We open with a bunch of windsurfers riding the waves off the beach of Port Harbor, which I must bestow the honor of winning the most redundantly named city in the world contest that I just made up. The local radio announcer exposits to us humble viewers that a local windsurfing bonanza is coming up this very week. The bash is going to be hosted by the mayor, William Wells, as he plans to run for governor come election season, because all voters can be swayed by windsurfing parties. Unfortunately, the party may be in danger as a windsurfer named Mike gets quite literally blasted off his board and devoured by an unseen foe. And it must have swallowed him whole since there isn't a single drop of blood to be seen. We then watch a woman named Gloria, who doesn't understand how brewing coffee works, arrive home, where her horror author husband Peter is struggling to find one little spark of imagination. It turns out that the guy just dragged to a watery grave was a friend of the couple's daughter, Jenny, who asks Peter if they can take his boat out to look for her friend's remains.
We need your boat, Dad. Everyone's out here trying to get there, taking the hard road, got to be so cool.
Making up lyrics, not my first language, hoping they make sense.
Pretending you're Blondie, but you're not Blondie.
Pretty badass moves he's pulling on this utterly calm and placid water.
Wow, all these Italian names. This wouldn't happen to be a foreign cash grab rushed into production to capitalize on an American movie's success.
Please, Kevin, Maurizio Amate, Ugo Tucci, and their non-union Italian crew had only the purest of motives.
Say, Bill, where'd you get that calzone you're eating?
Oh, you got it all wrong. This isn't a bribe from the Italians.
And what flavor calzone is it?
It's a spicy meatball.
I thought so.
South Bay's very own. Of course, we all know that our own local surf sailor, Mike Patterson's pretty sure that he's got that trophy wrapped up.
This is WXPO Exposition Radio.
For the last couple. Of course, Billy Joe Wells figures he's got a chance too.
Fortunately, either way, nobody cares about
Well,
windsurfing.
again.
He's really out to win, huh?
He will, too. There's nobody around here who can touch him.
Well, except for maybe that radical shark with the bitchin' hair who just rolled into town.
Committee Chairman William Wells Sr. has graciously provided the grounds of his estate for an open house barbecue.
And that's evidently worthy of broadcast news instead of a handwritten flyer posted at the public pool.
Will's generosity has...
Oh no, that jerk of a DJ ate half my board.
At last, the first exciting moment in windsurfing history.
Wait, I'm not a beautiful skinny dipping co-ed. You've got the wrong guy. Get home, casually turn on the coffee maker without loading any water or coffee. The usual routine.
I assume it was a flash of literary genius that kept you from making the coffee while I was out.
Dark and stormy night. Yep, literary genius, honey.
No, there's a little chop, but nice.
Her coffee-making method is reckless. I won't stand for it.
Daddy, we need your help.
The Bubba Gump Shrimp Company on the pier raised the price of Lieutenant Dan's drunken shrimp. Daddy, what do we do?
Surfing. We need your boat, Dad.
Oops, found him.
Before the Benton clan can find any evidence of Mike's disappearance, the scrap of his busted board is discovered by the film's cheap ripoff Quint, who examines the piece, which was clearly chopped up by the director's kid's safety scissors. Gloria, meanwhile, heads to, I don't know, City Hall or something, and meets up with the mayor, who's very disappointed Peter didn't come with her. Apparently, the windsurfing regatta simply can't go on without him, though why this is never specified. Peter and the kids catch up with Z-Grade Quint, whose real name is Ron, and while Ron calls the Coast Guard, Jenny is knocked off the boat by the shark. The men are able to haul her up, but keep their fears about the possible shark attack a secret for now. When they go to tell the mayor, he of course doesn't believe them, seeing as how this script is just the Jaws script with the names changed. But the Coast Guard ends up finding an abandoned boat out at sea that belonged to a local, Ed Glover. When Peter, Ron, and Wells all go out to inspect it, all they find of Ed is a torn-off arm. Guess the last shark doesn't care for leftovers. But as you'd expect, Wells straight up refuses to let the windsurfing gala be cancelled.
Sure, it looks like when Cookie Monster takes a bite out of a plate, but please take it seriously, a boy is dead.
Hey, it's Italian ripoff Quint.
You all know me and know how I make my living.
Smells like Kool-Aid. Sharkleberry Finn has killed again.
We're depending on Peter to help us with the regatta.
Well, one of Jenny's...
Yes?
Washington on the phone for you.
He'll want his wooden teeth
Okay,
back.
guys,
I better
go
take
ahead.
this.
No, slowly.
Fine, you want shark music? There. Nobody will ever come up with better shark music.
Has to be one hell of a specimen, too.
I don't know why.
But the trouble is, once they get a free... Jesus. What?
They got a windsurf regatta on Saturday.
If we cancel it, we may have to refund all 4 of the tickets we sold.
Ooh, obviously the shark has been reading The Boat Rocker by Terrence Mann.
What knocked you in the water? A shark or something?
Thank you, Nick.
What's wrong with you guys? You almost scraped my side off.
Oh, sorry, kiddo. Just didn't want you drifting out to sea, that's all.
Is once you get out to international waters, whatever a manatee wants to do to you is perfectly legal.
Come on, Bill, look at that board. You seriously think propeller made those cuts?
Maybe it's one of them Mediterranean axe dolphins?
Whose boat's that?
Ed Glover's.
Not Ed Glover. I'd grown fond of him in the past 0.4
John, what
seconds.
Ed.
Ed Glover's the last sailor around here to get himself caught in the Eagle Rock Current.
We're all aware of Ed Glover's boating proficiency. Please.
That's Ed Glover's boat.
All of a sudden, it's an Ed Glover biopic. My God. A grown man still wearing his high school ring? That's so embarrassing.
God, couldn't it have been an explosion? We all know that when Ed goes fishing, he uses grenades.
He does?
Why the hell isn't this an Ed Glover biopic?
Great.
See any bother?
South Bay's having its regatta.
We already canceled this year's Pinewood Derby because Tommy Nichols came down with a cold, damn
Of
it!
course I can. In fact, I have. No damn shark's gonna screw up a whole year's work and planning. We're going ahead with the regatta.
A windsurf regatta takes a year to plan? They laid out the Normandy invasion in like a couple of months.
Wells has a special shark-proof netting be set up around the bay where the windsurfers will be, and even plans to have armed men at the outskirts of the area to keep any dangers away, and plans to somehow keep the deaths/disappearances of 2 locals a complete secret to keep the people from panicking. The only outsider who gets to see the footage of his plan is the awful local news director, but we'll see more of him later. He then goes to Ron and tells him he'll provide whatever he, Peter, and some more local fishermen need to go out and destroy the oceanic beast. Peter and Ron put together a PowerPoint to teach the other fishermen what they'll be up against, while the windsurfers are none the wiser. A bunch of teens are frolicking on the beach in slow motion, only for the shark to ram itself into the netting over and over, finally breaking it while trying to get a little snack. The kids all head back up to the beach blissfully unaware of the peril they were potentially in, and the party is still planning to go on, not knowing the shark will be showing up as an uninvited guest.
Gentlemen, there is absolutely no need for you to worry about me allowing anything to happen to my town.
Can this wait until we're done?
Taken, and boats with our men aboard will be anchored outside the netting, here, here, and here.
Sir, how late were you up making trees for your little map?
Triangle. When you're through, you'll have enough material to put together a pretty good documentary on Wells Water Sports Security.
Water sports security documentary? Sir, you're running for governor. Please focus.
The wrong idea. Panic. Yeah. We have to avoid that at all costs.
Ah, shark!
Don't worry. I'll take care of it.
One ticket on the first boat out of town, please?
How many boats you think we'll need?
Well, we'll need the beer boat, boat for the empties, keg boat.
That's very nice of you, but there's only one thing that I'd be needing.
I'll need to eat your mustache to provide sustenance to my
Remember
own.
that great white?
Affectionately known in the tropics as White Death.
White Death was the variety
Well, that's
headline
what
when
we're dealing
Friends
with
got
here.
canceled.
Now, I know the Great White isn't supposed to be in our waters here, but
Huey, Dewey, and Louis Zissou.
whatever the reason, here it is.
The reason is Jaws made $500 million at the box office.
And below the dorsal.
Sorry, had a heart attack during that last
One
word below the
or the other,
torso.
the tooth. Because he's had his taste of human flesh.
You can blame Ed Glover for being so succulent and delicious. Hello, fellow Earth human. I enjoy the jogging. It's indicated on my shirt of sweat.
I'm going for a swim. Who's coming?
Me, I'm coming, you guys.
I love my new walrus blood hair conditioner.
We tried a similar method to keep my drunk Uncle Gary out of the family reunion. Chewed through it, though. Adam West's shark repellent would have been more effective.
Yeah, it's a good thing this was the last shark because they kind of seem like dicks.
The windsurfing regatta begins, as Wells schmoozes the crowd. He also informs Peter and Ron to keep their men out of sight, where the crowds won't get suspicious of anything. But little do they know, it's too late for that. The first of the actual windsurfing events begins, and the teens are off, while some local filmographers capture the scene for posterity. As the game goes on, though, Ron sees a buoy that was attached to the shark net floating among the competitors. He hops on a boat while Peter uses a megaphone to call the surfers out of the water. A full-blown calamity ensues, with everyone flailing and panicking, while one of Wells' aides gets thrown out of his boat. All while the evidently bloodthirsty local news director has his cameraman zoom in on his grisly death. As everyone tries to recover from the horror they just saw, Ron snitches on Wells, saying that, well, yes, precautions were taken, the mayor didn't warn anyone of the potential threat to their lives.
Oh. For the love of God, shut the door! Shut the door!
Fresh Pope.
Oh, good. Cheerleaders in horror movies always mean someone's going to die soon. They're like banshees.
You sure your men know enough to keep their hardware out of sight?
Now, we've gone over all that with them. How's it stay out of sight?
All right, well, I've got to go start planning next year's regatta.
Go ahead with the press. Keep your fingers crossed.
Oh, nothing's gonna happen.
I swear on my father's grave, this carefree American beach montage shall continue unabated.
I'd like to see that shark go through those nets.
They were the most expensive ones in the Oriental Trading Company catalog.
To make the race more exciting, the crowd is allowed to use sniper rifles starting at the 2-minute mark.
Why is he the only one who can see it?
Finally, proof of the haunted buoy that killed my grandfather. Magically levitate out of the water, I command you.
If everyone could shriek more kind of incomprehensibly, I really think it would help.
Does he see anyone not hurrying? Is that the problem here?
Sharks, known for killing by throwing people 40 feet in the air.
Security measures were taken.
All right, just doing a check here. Which of the many mustache guys am I?
Seen anything?
What the shark hit a whammy or lose on match game or something?
Peter, Gloria, and Ron head out onto the water, hoping to stop the shark's reign of terror. They have the usual fishing gear, as well as some dynamite to use if things get too intense down there. At the same time, Jenny and Wells' own teen son and 2 friends of theirs decide to go hunt the shark themselves, with no parents knowing about it. This can only go smooth for them, I'm sure. We also see the creepy director guy playing the mayor's aide's death over and over again, planning to have a hit on his hands. Certainly he is a stable human being, undeserving of reproach and fear. Cutting back to Ron and Peter, they've headed underwater into some caves, and, bad news for them, the last shark must also be the most intelligent shark in the history of the world, because instead of just trying to eat them, when he realizes they're trying to kill him, he traps them in the cave by ramming his head into the mouth of it, causing rocks to fall. Tough luck battling the underwater equivalent of Einstein. They try to use some dynamite to blow it open while Gloria warns them of the ticking clock that is their oxygen tank.
I'm a grizzled sea captain and stuff.
Well, I got the dynamite here.
I've got the dynamite here. I ended a couple shower early with that very same line.
Up again like Aruba.
Just gonna be used as a backup. You know, there's liable to be a mighty big fish down there.
Oh, God, please just
And then
stop
we
with
can
the
follow
Quint
it.
impression. It sounds like it's causing you physical pain to even attempt it.
So tie ropes and clips. Now, if we need them, we're gonna need them fast.
Just say the word, Skipper.
Hey, Bill, could you hand me that pencil?
Just say the word.
I just said the word. Could you hand it to me?
You just let me know.
I'm letting you know now.
Say the word, Mike.
Would you give me the pencil?
Merely speak it, and it shall be done.
Okay.
I can see it on the network news already.
It'll be right after the story.
What
3
if we don't
drunken
find
idiots die in fiery boat wreck during
You know
shark
what I
killing
say?
celebration.
We ought to make a pact not to... We're going out to shoot some blues off Eagle.
Also,
Where's
are you
that?
someone we've already met in this film?
good man.
Every guy over 30 looks exactly like every other guy.
Sure it does.
If the movie were nothing but 90 minutes of this, I would be
How'd he make the
completely
shot
on
now?
board.
They're searching for the rare cave-dwelling great white shark, also known as the giant water bat. Been talking to Richard Terry.
Shark! Oh, sorry guys, didn't mean to alarm you. I was just loudly naming my favorite brand of upright vacuum cleaners.
Little movie trivia. In the original Italian version, the shark actually says, "Mamma mia, I bang on my shark ahead against the wall."
Well, looks like they better get used to eating Krabby Patties.
The last 12 pages of the script simply read, glug glug, bubble bubble bubble, bang bang, bang bang, gurgle gurgle, bubble, they swim.
Look, I can turn on my central air conditioning even when I'm not home. Oh, God, I brought the wrong remote. Now my house won't be air conditioned. No air conditioning!
The men get out of the scrape with their lives and head back to shore with Gloria. They tell their tale to the mayor and a crowd on the dock, where the head of the marina narks on the kids for heading out on Wells's own boat. The dads head out on a helicopter as fast as they can to save their children from themselves. Speaking of the kids, they have the creature in their sights and start firing on it and lowering bait into the water, actually getting pretty close to taking care of it altogether. Alas, 'twas not meant to be a victory, though, as in the chaos of things, Jenny gets knocked into the water and gets her legs munched on by our villain. Thankfully, she escapes with her life and is rushed to the hospital. Wells clearly feels guilty for what's happened, and Gloria can't even bear to see her daughter when she wakes up and leaves Peter to go in alone. Because yes, Gloria, your pain is currently so much worse than your now one-legged daughter's. Better not go comfort her.
Can you hear me?
If you see a sand dollar down there, grab it for me. I saw this neat stencil idea on Pinterest.
Dorsal! Dorsal!
Oh, I'd say he was at least 30 feet long, and that's a conservative estimate. Wouldn't you say
Shore
that?
towns can't get enough stories about
Too
failed
sorry.
fishing trips.
Just kept coming.
Your boy took your boat out, Mr. Wells.
How dare you speak to me with that hat?
Okay. There were 4 of them.
A conjoined circle POV shot that binoculars don't actually produce. It's over there.
We might not get another chance at the time. Faster!
Shouting and firing a weapon on a boat. Isn't that on the floor in a state quarter?
It's bumper to bumper on the 405, and only we can cover it, men.
Why don't we lower the bait?
That should counterbalance our corpses.
Yo, what? The shark? I didn't sign up for that.
Conspiracy theorists are still trying to pin this one on Robert Wagner.
Judd Hirsch's corpse from Sharknado put up a better fight against the sharks.
Clear the way. I got a shark with a femur stuck in its gum line.
It'll be okay, sweetie. Just hold the camera still and try to keep everyone in frame.
Go to number 1.
I'm sorry. It's not your fault. If it hadn't been for your helicopter, we'd have lost her for sure.
How about a forced perspective
It's your
kiss?
fault.
Comfort me, technically adequate but thoroughly unlistenable music.
She'll feel
or missing leg for months, perhaps for a year.
Depending on how well we saran wrap it and the free space in your fridge.
I'm not ready.
Help yourself to a giant tongue depressor until I return.
Wells goes off in the helicopter to try to kill the shark himself. Peter relays memories to Jenny as she sleeps in her hospital room. Isn't that cute? The movie's trying to develop these characters' relationships an hour into the movie. Jenny starts yelling and thrashing in her sleep. But does that happen when you're just out of an intensive surgery? I'm honestly asking. I guess if it's traumatic enough, maybe? I know after my surgery last year when I was asleep in the hospital, I was completely out like a light, never dreaming from what I can remember. Regardless, Wells starts his shark hunt, baiting it to come to the helicopter with a huge piece of meat. But once the shark is chowing down, he doesn't immediately attempt to destroy it in any way, shape, or form. Since he didn't really have a plan, the shark drags the copter close to the water, causing Wells to fall in. And I'm sure you can predict what happens next. Yup, Wells gets his leg sliced in half, then gets eaten, and then the shark drags the entire helicopter, yes, an entire copter, into the water. Cinematic brilliance.
Let's get this baboon heart to Cedar Sinai. Then we'll take care of that shark.
You looked up at me and I knew.
That you were going to sue your own father.
I knew you. So I backed off and
Abandoned the family for a few years.
I watched you wipe off the... I remember my heart skipped a couple of beats.
Yeah, he sure is relaying that excitement.
Help me.
Stop the endless, boring monologue. Help me.
Kill it. Kill it!
Yep, my reaction the first time I saw Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat.
This is basically how you fed your teenage sons, right, Mike?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I couldn't always afford the helicopter rental, but it really helped to keep some distance between the huge hunk of meat in their mouths.
Sure.
Almost lost an arm a few times.
Kids.
I hate to be overly skeptical, but I'm not sure he's thought this through. Well, I'm sorry I doubted his plan. See, it's to go up.
That's the cartoon with the super sad first 10 minutes that I couldn't remember before. Up!
Hang on! Bernie! Bernie!
Next time, send Laurel and Hardy out there. Couldn't do worse.
Bernie!
Okay, maybe CGI isn't all that bad after all.
Cool. I'll keep it next to Amelia Earhart's plane.
It seems everyone in town is just gonna keep hunting that shark instead of staying out of the freaking water for a few weeks, as Ron and Peter go out again, with Peter seeking vengeance for his injured daughter, while the local news guy plans on using meat to lure the thing out toward his camera to get the best possible angles of it. Ron screams at Peter for a while before diving in himself, telling Peter more than just his grudge against the overgrown fish is at stake here. Ron finds the wreck of the helicopter and gets cornered by the shark in a very visually confusing scene. All that's really important is that, despite Peter's best efforts, Ron doesn't make it out alive as the shark drags him out of the helicopter remains to never be seen again. Back on the dock, the bait's been set, the camera's ready, and a random new hunter guy has showed up to deal the killing blow. And many extra people have showed up as well, because why not all gather around the exact area a shark with a 100% kill rate is going to be in mere moments?
Cinematographer looked through his viewer and said, "You know what? Eat it, golden ratio."
Yeah, luring the shark with meat has a 100% deadly track record now. Let's try luring him with meat.
This is my boat, those are my orders.
No, damn it. That's my shark, Ron. Has to be.
I swear it by my red, strangely padded ass.
That is your shark. And this is the only thing we have to stop him. And there's only one dynamite belt, so what's the sense in risking both our necks?
No, for a makeupless clown, he's quite brave.
Now, is what I'm saying make any sense to you?
Your mood swings scare me.
Son of a... Just want to make sure you're safe because I cherish you. Killing me with this lame theme. Hey, how about we license Peter Gunn? I'll pay half.
Oh my God, the tension. Will these random images relate to each other spatially or in terms of story in some way eventually? Who knows?
Life and death, sure, but it's always time for a fun little flip.
The captain took less than a minute to get hopelessly tangled up. I don't think this one's on the shark.
Yeah, you couldn't see it with the shot, but he also got each foot stuck in a separate bucket.
Now I got my flippers stuck together.
Oh, for the love of God.
Good to see you. All right.
I'm feeling kind of vulnerable these days, so,
Right,
you know,
up.
I could... Oh, you're not
There.
really interested.
You
Okay.
put the bait at the end of
What's the television here for? Hoping for some blood, as usual.
I guess extras were paid in hash brownies.
Blood will put me out like a light.
Now, this little baby's special. See these shells?
Each one has an amusing limerick inscribed on it.
It turns out the last shark is also a superhero for some reason, as he's able to pull an entire chunk of the dock out to sea, which ends up with a dozen people suddenly losing all sense of their motor functions and stumbling into the water worse than the down-and-out jumpsuit guy. And the hunter loses his gun in the water, because of course a guy that's had 45 seconds of screen time in the last 10 minutes wasn't going to be the one to kill the jerk. And, as was to be expected, the only people left on the floating piece of driftwood is Peter's wife, Jenny's teen friends, the hunter dude, and the cameraman, who's finally realizing maybe he shouldn't have trusted his clearly sadistic local news station boss after all. And for his misplaced trust, he loses both his legs and then is somehow instantly dead, unlike Jenny who lost a leg and then made it all the way back to the hospital relatively fine. Finally, Peter comes across the ridiculous scene just as the shark has taken everyone off the dock and gulps down the hunter. And after getting off the boat to help the others up, Peter starts getting dragged by the shark all by his lonesome. And it turns out I was wrong, as Peter does see Ron again, who's miraculously in one piece, but unconscious or dead. It's unclear which. He's not in one piece for long, though, as the shark gobbles him right up. But not before Peter grabs the detonator off Ron's belt and explodes the shark to smithereens, thus ending its reign of terror and saving the blood-soaked, thoroughly traumatized town.
The guy with the gun.
Who's the guy with the gun? A question overheard at a Cracker Barrel somewhere every second of every day.
Wow. Sounds like they lured the shark using delicious, healthy kashi.
And yet it's still a better pier than Piers Morgan.
See, this is why I never walk out on hastily constructed detachable docks.
Jimmy, can you hear me?
Hey, come on! Hurry up! Get a boat out to us!
No, we're good.
Looks like we're in our own country now. I'm Secretary of Agriculture. Damn it, why didn't I call President?
He doesn't come back.
Don't mind me, folks. Just need a little fiber.
I'm back to form, baby. Wait, how far did that guy fly? Several feet. Damn it, I'm losing my touch. Ah, boxer briefs constricting my nethers like a python. And that too.
Ooh, the shark specializes in ironic kills.
He wrote an entire season of Tales from the Crypt.
I'm still peckish.
Oh, not the character we met mere moments ago and who was clearly written into the script as an auxiliary victim. No!
Idiot.
Ah, Mr. Benton, we meet again, but this time the advantage is mine.
Shark, if you let me go, I'll show you how to make a bitchin' driftwood coat rack.
The secret ingredient to making Vic Morrow soup? Vic Morrow.
Peter, Pete, don't move me, man. My neck and spine are like, oh God! Vertebrae collapsing like Jenga blocks. Spinal cord severed. Ability to speak dorsal. You can't do this to my friend. He was in the Bad News Bears. No one remembers him, but he was.
Well, I guess I'll just sit here and watch a shark slowly devour my dear friend. Really taking his time there.
A migraine can feel like Vic Morrow exploding inside your head.
At last, our waters are free of danger.
All known
The sharks that
oceanic
terrorize
perils
our
have been
town
totally
finally
defeated.
destroyed. And here
And with that, we bid a weirdly somber farewell to a movie whose original Italian title was Signor Spielberg, please do not sue us, for we are but the poor Italian peasants.
Right.
This film is exactly what you'd expect it to be. It has all the beats of Jaws that changed the film industry as we know it, but much, much worse. Now, I won't go too hard on the acting, seeing as obviously there's a lot of dialogue redubs in here, but I will criticize the writing for being so derivative, the music for being so bland when it even bothers to show up, the shark animatronic for being so stilted, and the characters for being so paper thin. However, it's great riffing fodder as you'd probably expect, and it would make a great double feature with the MP3 riff of Jaws our trio did back in the day. So take a day and have some bloody RiffTrax fun with this one. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and huge thanks to all of my sharp-toothed Patreon supporters, including Jackie Ball and Kevin Nata. I'm so glad to be making reviews again. I've had this one on the shelf for quite a while, so I hope it turned out great. Make sure to leave any suggestions for reviews or anything else you'd like to see down below. And I just want to thank all of you guys for such support on my comeback to YouTube. I've missed this a lot, and I'm so excited you were all happy for my return. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.
Time for